Hey, what's up everyone? Kevin here. In this video, I want to share with you guys the 5 most difficult, craziest ski resorts I've had the chance to ride in the past few years. Every year, I try to challenge myself with new resorts, new challenges, and the last few, I've definitely found some of the most difficult ski resorts, places that I didn't know even existed. These resorts span from the northern hemisphere all the way to the southern, so a big variety. Let's jump right into it. So the first spot on my list is Los Lennis Resort in Argentina, and I visited the resort this past September at the end of their winter. There's a chairlift in Los Lennis called the TS Marte chair, and this is one of the wildest chairs I've ridden in my entire life. From the top of the TS Marte, you have a huge expanse of black and double black terrain to explore. My first lap of this chair, I was riding some untouched powder that funneled me down into a chute to a small drop. Probably the wildest first run I've ever had at a new resort. The crazy thing about this resort too is that there was barely anybody riding this terrain. So every time I got up for a new lap, I was always riding untouched lines, which when you're riding black and double black terrain, if the snow is more untouched, it's gonna be that much easier and more fun to ride. One important thing to know is that you do need to bring your avalanche gear with you to ride the terrain from this chairlift. So if you get the chance, visit Los Lennis, Argentina. It's not that easy to get to, but once you're there, and if the TS Marte chair does open on a powder day, you're gonna have some of the most special and best riding of your entire life. And before you go, take an avalanche course so that you're prepared with all your gear and knowledge to go with it. The next extremely difficult resort I want to shout out is Gulmarg Resort in Kashmir, India. If you didn't know, India does have some of the biggest mountains in the world, and there are 1 or 2 ski resorts so that you can make the most of it, and Gulmarg is one of them. To access the difficult parts of the mountain, you need to take the gondola all the way to the top. This gondola is also the highest in the world, taking you up to around 13,000 feet. From here, you do have an inbounds area that you can ride that they do avalanche controls in, some of the wildest and most difficult terrain that does take you back to the mid station of the mountain. From the gondola, you can also go out of the gates and access some of the backcountry terrain as well. From here, you have endless terrain to explore. I highly recommend getting a guide to take you and show you the good spots and also to keep you safe. There is risk of avalanche, so having a guide that's knowledgeable is super important. There's a bit of everything at Gulmarg, from steep runs, chutes, cliff drops, trees, all the most fun terrain. It definitely blew my mind, and I'll be back to visit Gulmarg someday to explore more of the mountain. For the next most difficult resort, we're going back to South America, to Argentina, and this time to Sero Cadral. The resort at Sero Cadral does have some fun terrain, but the real difficult terrain is a short hike into the backcountry where it gives you access to some of the most unbelievable backcountry riding that does lead you back to the chairlift. If you're feeling more adventurous and you have that AV knowledge and a partner, you can venture out further and get into some of the most difficult and technical terrain with some incredible views. On this day, I was out with my friend Shane. Together, we were finding some of the most challenging and technical terrain. At this resort, you definitely want to take your time, plan each line, have a friend that's knowledgeable, and always playing it on the safe side, especially when you're in a new place you've never been before. The mountains at Sero Cadral are very unique, and probably the highlight of the riding is just how long and steep some of the runs are. Even though it's easy to access, there's still some big mountain dangers. So having a partner and that AV awareness is key. The next resort, which is a surprisingly difficult resort, one that I didn't expect, was Sunshine Village in Banff, Alberta, Canada. At first look, the terrain at Sunshine is pretty family friendly, lots of easy trees, flowy runs, a few terrain parks, but there's one area that gives you access to some of the craziest and steepest runs in North America, and that's Delirium Dive. To access Delirium Dive, you actually have to go through a gate which will only open if you have your AV gear on you and your beacon is sending a signal. So it's important to come prepared with the knowledge and gear and a partner as well. From the top of Delirium Dive, there's a few bowls and chutes that you can access. The first run I ever did up there was a spot called Brie X, which is a very steep double black diamond entrance. The day that I did it, there was lots of snow, making it very easy to access. Down this run, there was some very fun and technical steep turns and small drops to do. Towards the bottom, there was a fun section of trees to flow through, which then brought us back to the gondola to go up and do it again. The next run I did in Delirium Dive was through one of the chutes. I believe it was chute 4. And this was one of the scariest entrances I've ever done in my life, going over top of jagged rocks, toe sliding to get to the access point. And then the chute itself was deep, bottomless snow. My friend Alex was taking me through the chute on this day, and it was a big relief to have a local who had some of that knowledge to take me down some of these treacherous runs. If you do make it out to Sunshine, definitely check out Delirium Dive. Come prepared with your AVI experience and gear, and also a partner, preferably a local that can show you the good spots. If you're an American and you don't have time to fly to South America, over to Asia, or up to Canada, Snowbird Resort in Utah is definitely one of the most, or if not the most difficult resort in the US. For me, Snowbird is very interesting just because there is so much difficult terrain around, and a lot of it is hidden too. Luckily, I've had the chance to ride with some locals who do show me around some of the best parts. Some of the hidden trees, steep runs, and cliff drops that you can do at Snowbird. There's also some backcountry access from Snowbird that you can do by boot pack. This can take you to a variety of terrain. My first day venturing out of the resort, I was able to do some really fun trees with lots of untouched powder and small drops. Some of the backcountry runs do take you back into the resort so you can get the chairlift. Other backcountry spots do take you out of the resort where you're gonna have to ride all the way down to the highway. But some of these can be worth it if you're with a crew that knows the runs and you have the proper avalanche gear with you. On this backcountry hike, we found a really steep, technical, but fun chute to ride down, which led into a big open meadow of trees. One thing I love about Snowbird as well is that if you don't mind a traverse, you can find fresh powder even multiple days after a storm. One of my favorite sections is a spot called Bookends. It's a very long traverse, which is difficult, but brings you to a very fun and flowy section of trees. All right, so those are the 5 most difficult, extreme, but also fun resorts I've had the chance to ride the last few years. It'd be great to hear from you guys. What are some difficult resorts that I should check out next? Again, most of these resorts have backcountry access or require avalanche knowledge. So I'll put links to AVI courses down below in the description. I'll also put links to my gear and sponsors below too. It's a great way to support the channel. Don't forget to subscribe here to Snowboard Pro Camp. Have fun out there snowboarding, be safe, and I'll catch you in the next video.